Growing up, Hung never knew the warmth of a real family. He got lost from his family when he was very young, left to navigate a world where love was scarce and comfort even scarcer. But fate gave him a second chance. A kind-hearted couple adopted him, not just giving him a home, but pouring their love into every moment they shared with him. They nurtured him, guided him, and helped him become the strong, successful man he is today. That journey left a deep imprint on Hung. Even with all his success, now a powerful CEO with wealth, prestige, and influence, he never forgot what it felt like to be that lonely little boy craving affection. Deep down, he carries a profound empathy for children who grow up without a father, without safety, without love. That wound, though healed by his adoptive parents, became the seed of compassion that has shaped who he is today. So when Hung met Tieu Ca, something shifted. At first, it wasn't just about love, it was recognition. He saw in her the same fierce determination he once needed to survive. A single mother, strong yet vulnerable, doing everything she could for her 2 kids without ever asking for help. Life had tested her over and over again, yet she stood firm, never breaking, never complaining. She wasn't like the women he had known in the world of business or high society. She was real, raw, humble, full of quiet strength. And her 2 children? They reminded Hung of himself. Kids who, through no fault of their own, were missing the affection and presence of a father. The more time he spent around them, the more he felt drawn into their lives, not out of pity, but out of something far deeper, a calling, a connection. People around him often questioned his choices. Why would a man like Hung, a self-made CEO with everything going for him, devote himself to a woman with 2 children from another man? Why pour his time, energy, and heart into a family that by blood wasn't his? But what they didn't understand was that love doesn't ask for blood ties. It doesn't measure worth based on social status or past mistakes. For Hung, love was never about perfection. It was about presence. And Tieu Ca, with all her quiet struggles and brave endurance, deserved someone who saw her, truly saw her, not as a burden, but as a beautiful story still being written. He didn't fall in love with her because of some fairy tale romance. He fell in love with her because she carried a fire within her, because she sacrificed for her children every day, because she smiled even when she was hurting, because she made broken look beautiful and strong look effortless. And with her children, Hung didn't just become a provider. He became something more powerful, a safe place. He was the one to hold their little hands when they were scared. He showed up at school events. He read bedtime stories. He listened when they had bad dreams. They started calling him Daddy not because he asked them to, but because slowly and surely he earned it. The truth is, Hung saw his past in those children, and he wanted to be the man he wished had been there for him. Every moment he shared with them helped him heal a little more from his own wounds. In giving them the love he once lacked, he was also giving that lost little boy inside him the family he always dreamed of. To outsiders, it may seem unusual, even irrational, that a man with Hung's stature would invest so deeply in a woman like Tieu Ca and her children. But Hung doesn't live his life based on what makes sense to the world. He lives it based on what makes sense to his heart. And in his heart, he knows this: real love isn't always neat. It doesn't always come in the perfect package. Sometimes it looks like a tired single mom and 2 kids who just want someone to believe in them. Sometimes it looks like late-night hospital runs, spontaneous picnics, scraped knees, and tiny voices saying, "I love you," when you least expect it. For Hung, this isn't a story of sacrifice, it's a story of purpose. He was never searching for a fairy tale, he was searching for meaning. And in Tieu Ca and her children, he found it. Not just love, but a reason to become the kind of man who leaves a legacy not of money, but of unconditional care. So when people ask him, why her? Why them? He smiles because they saved him as much as he saved them. She's not just any woman. She's the kind of person whose quiet strength can move even the most guarded heart. She doesn't chase attention, doesn't seek validation. Instead, she lives with dignity, fights her battles in silence, and loves with a depth most people can't even comprehend. That's what drew Hung in. It wasn't about appearances or circumstance. It was her soul, her resilience, her capacity to keep going when life gave her every reason to give up. Tieu Ca didn't ask for a savior, and that's exactly why Hung wanted to stand beside her. And the children? People question how he could love them when they don't share his blood. But love doesn't need biology. What they don't know is that Hung himself is adopted. The parents who raised him weren't tied to him by DNA, but by something even stronger: unconditional love. They chose him. They loved him with their whole hearts, even when the world had turned its back on him. And that kind of love leaves a mark. It changes a person. Hung grew up with that love, and it shaped him. It softened him. It taught him that family isn't about blood. It's about presence, sacrifice, and unwavering care. So when he looks at Tieu Ca's children, he doesn't see someone else's kids. He sees innocence. He sees a chance to give them the same love he once received, the kind that saves you in ways words can't explain. He sees two little hearts who just need someone to believe in them, show up for them, and never leave. Hung doesn't talk about it much. He's not the type to share what's deep in his heart with the world. Most people just see the success, the cars, the suits, the meetings. They don't see the little boy he once was, or the quiet promise he made to himself years ago. If I ever get the chance, I'll be the person I once needed. Now, that chance has come. In Tieu Ca, in her children, in the home they're slowly building together, not just with bricks and furniture, but with moments, with care, with love. So why them? Because they moved his heart in a way no one else ever had. Because they remind him of where he came from. And because loving them isn't a duty, it's the most natural thing in the world. There's something about being with Tieu Ca and her little girl that Hung could never quite put into words. It's more than just companionship. It's more than affection. It's a kind of joy he never even knew was missing until he found it in them. Every time he's around them, he feels this warmth, this quiet, genuine happiness that no success, no amount of wealth ever brought him. With Tieu Ca, there's no pretending, no masks, just simple, honest connection. She laughs with her whole heart, speaks with sincerity, and loves fiercely, especially when it comes to her daughter. And that little girl? The way she looks at him with those bright, innocent eyes. It melts every wall he's spent years building around his heart. There's a bond there, one that Hmong can't explain, but he feels it deep in his soul. It's like the universe gently tied a thread between them long before they ever met. Something mysterious, something meant to be. He's not sure how it happened. He didn't plan it. He didn't expect to feel this way. But now that he does, he knows it's real. This isn't just love, it's belonging. For a man who once walked through life feeling like an outsider, always on the move, always chasing something, being with Tieu Ca and her daughter feels like home. Like maybe, just maybe, he was meant to find them. And in that quiet bond they share, through smiles, shared meals, playful moments, and late-night conversations, Hmong realizes something profound. Sometimes the most important people in your life aren't the ones you go searching for. They're the ones you're destined to find.
Có điều gì đó về việc ở bên Tieu Ca và cô con gái nhỏ của cô mà Hùng không bao giờ có thể diễn tả thành lời. Không chỉ là tình bạn, không chỉ là tình cảm, đó là một loại niềm vui mà anh thậm chí không biết là mình đã mất cho đến khi anh tìm thấy ở họ. Mỗi khi ở bên họ, anh cảm thấy ấm áp, niềm hạnh phúc lặng lẽ, chân thành mà không thể nào giấu được. Không cần giàu sang, không cần thành công có nào có thể mang lại cho anh. Với Tieu Ca, không có sự giả vờ, không có mặt nạ, chỉ có sự kết nối đơn giản, trung thực. Cô ấy cười bằng cả trái tim, nói chuyện chân thành và yêu thương mãnh liệt, đặc biệt khi nói đến con gái mình. Cô còn bé, tính cách cô bé nhìn anh bằng ánh mắt sáng ngời, ngây thơ đó làm tan chảy mọi bức tường mà anh đã dành nhiều năm xây dựng quanh trái tim mình. Có một mối kết nối ở đó, một mối liên kết mà không thể giải thích, nhưng anh cảm thấy nó sâu thẳm trong tâm hồn của mình, giống như vũ trụ đã che đi ràng buộc họ bằng sợi dây nào đó, khiến cho họ gặp nhau, đến bên nhau và cùng nhau xây đắp những gì còn đang dang dở. Anh không chắc điều đó đã xảy ra như thế nào, anh cũng không hề lên kế hoạch, anh không ngờ mình lại cảm thấy như vậy. Nhưng giờ anh đã làm là một điều mà anh không nghĩ rằng mình đã làm. Đối với